All right, so today we're going to be looking at something I think a lot of people are really curious about. Can you actually earn crypto without putting any money down up front? We've got some sources here that say it's not only possible, but might be even easier than you think.
Yeah, it's a question that comes up all the time and for good reason. I mean, imagine just growing your crypto holdings just by doing things you're already doing on your phone anyway. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly. And that's why I think this is going to be a really interesting deep dive.
Mm.
We're going to be looking at how three specific apps, Coinbase, Celsius Network, and Bituro, offer different ways to kind of earn crypto passively. And there's an interesting twist here. These apps are being discussed in the context of someone explaining them to a Spanish speaker.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Kind of shows how crypto is really breaking down those geographical barriers. It's making these financial tools accessible to pretty much anyone, anywhere.
Absolutely. So let's start with Coinbase Earn. I'm sure you've heard of Coinbase. They're a big name in the crypto exchange world. But did you know that they have this program where you can actually earn crypto just by learning about it?
Yeah, it's a pretty clever strategy on their part. Basically, they offer these short videos on different cryptocurrencies. And you watch one and then you take a little quiz and they give you a small amount of that crypto as a reward.
So it's a win-win, right? You learn more about the crypto space and you get a little something to show for it. It's almost like a crash course in crypto, but with a bonus prize at the end.
Yeah, and that learning aspect I think is crucial, especially for someone who's brand new to crypto.
Hmm.
It helps them build confidence and understanding before they go and jump into trading or investing on their own.
Right. It's like dipping your toes in the crypto pool without having to just dive in head first. And what I thought was really interesting about Coinbase Earn is that it's not just any random cryptocurrency they're focused on. They really stick to these reputable projects that have like solid fundamentals.
Yeah, that's an important distinction for sure. I think it gives the program some legitimacy, and it makes sure that users are learning about projects that have the potential to grow over time, not just some fly-by-night scheme.
Right. Okay. So Coinbase Earn is all about learning and earning. So let's move on to Celsius Network. Now, this one I think is really interesting because it's all about earning interest on your crypto holdings. It's kind of like a high yield savings account, but for your digital assets.
Exactly. You deposit your crypto into Celsius and they lend it out to other users or institutions, and that generates interest that they share with you.
And here's the thing, the interest rates that Celsius offers are way higher than what you'd get from a traditional bank.
Hmm.
Who wouldn't want to see their crypto growing faster?
Right. It's definitely appealing, especially with how traditional savings accounts are doing these days. But it is important to remember that those higher returns usually come with higher risk.
That's a really good point. And that's definitely something we'll talk about more later when we get into the potential risks and rewards of these platforms.
Mm.
But for now, let's stick to the basics of how Celsius works. Now, they also have this referral program, which I thought was kind of cool.
Ah, yeah, word of mouth marketing. Refer a friend to Celsius, and you both get some crypto rewards. It's a pretty common strategy in the crypto world, and it's been really effective in bringing in new users.
Yeah, it's like getting paid to tell your friends about something you really like. And in this case, it's about accessing potentially higher returns on your crypto. Plus, Celsius supports a bunch of different cryptocurrencies, so you're not just limited to Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah, that's a big plus, especially for users who are looking to diversify their crypto portfolio and earn interest on a bunch of different assets.
Okay, so let's wrap up this first part by taking a look at Bituro. This one seems to be geared towards people who are just looking for a really simple and accessible way to earn crypto without having to put any money down.
Yeah, Baturo's model is based on microtasks. Users can earn small amounts of crypto by watching ads, completing surveys, or trying out new apps. It's kind of like they're gamifying the whole process of earning crypto.
Exactly. And it really lowers the barrier to entry. You don't need any technical knowledge or a ton of money to get started. You just download the Bituro app, which, by the way, is only available for Android users right now, and you can start earning crypto right away.
Yeah, it's a great option for people who are curious about crypto but maybe a little hesitant to put any money in, and lets them get a feel for the whole ecosystem and earn some crypto along the way without risking any of their own money.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes these platforms so interesting. They offer a really low-stakes way to enter the crypto world and potentially benefit from its growth. But just like with anything new, it's important to understand both the potential upsides and the potential downsides.
Absolutely, and
Mhm.
that's exactly what we're going to be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. We're going to dig into the potential risks, the sustainability of these earn-in models, and what it all means for the future of finance. So stay tuned.
You definitely don't want to miss that.
Okay, so it's easy to get caught up in all the excitement about free crypto, But let's maybe take a step back and look at some of the potential downsides, too. Things to watch out for.
Yeah, let's get real. What are we really talking about here?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right?
Right, exactly. One thing to think about is the value of your time. Like earning a decent amount of crypto through those micro tasks, like on Baturo, that could take hours and hours of work.
Yeah, so it's really about finding that balance between the effort you're willing to put in and the potential reward. It's kind of like any side hustle. You've got to put in the time if you want to see results.
Exactly. And you got to be realistic about your earning potential. I mean, these platforms aren't going to make you rich overnight.
Definitely not a shortcut to being a crypto millionaire.
Hmm.
More like a way to dip your toes in, earn a little, and learn as you go.
Speaking of learning, let's talk about security for a minute. It's super important to do your research and choose platforms that have strong security measures in place.
That's good advice no matter what kind of online platform you're using. What should people be looking for specifically? Like, what are some red flags?
Okay, so look for platforms that offer two-factor authentication. That adds an extra layer of security to your account. And it's also important to check if they use cold storage for their crypto assets. That means that a portion of the crypto is held offline, so it's less vulnerable to hacking.
Okay, so it's kind of like keeping your most valuable stuff in a safe deposit box
Yeah,
instead of carrying it around in your wallet.
exactly. And then beyond those technical security measures, you should also look at the platform's track record. Have they had any security breaches in the past? What are other users saying about their experience?
Yeah, it's like checking online reviews before you buy something or book a hotel. A little bit of research can go a long way.
Absolutely. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the volatility of the crypto market. The value of the crypto you earn can go up and down pretty dramatically.
Yeah, that's true. Crypto is known for its price swings. One day it's up, the next day it's down. Can definitely feel like a roller coaster ride.
And that's why it's really important to have a long-term perspective. Don't panic if prices drop. If you believe in the long-term potential of crypto, then those short-term fluctuations shouldn't scare you away.
It's like investing in the stock market. You're in it for the long haul, riding out the highs and lows.
Now let's talk about transparency for a second. It's important to understand how these platforms make money. Like, how do they stay in business? Some platforms might take a cut of your earnings or generate revenue through advertising.
Right, so it's not always completely free. There are often costs involved, whether it's directly or indirectly.
Exactly, and that's why it's so important to read the fine print. Understand the terms of service before you sign up for any platform.
Yeah, transparency is key.
Yeah.
Knowing how these platforms make money helps you make more informed decisions about which ones to use.
Okay, now let's talk about regulations for a minute. That's another thing to keep in mind. The regulatory landscape for crypto is still evolving, and new regulations could come along that impact these platforms or your crypto holdings.
Right. Good point. The world of crypto is constantly changing. It's important to stay informed about any new developments that might affect you.
Absolutely. All right, so let's shift gears for a minute. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What does the rise of these platforms tell us about the future of finance?
That's a really interesting question. It seems like these platforms are making financial tools and opportunities more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. They're empowering individuals to participate in the crypto ecosystem without needing a ton of money or specialized knowledge.
It's kind of like democratizing finance, putting the power back into the hands of everyday people. I love that.
And it's a sign of the growing acceptance and adoption of cryptocurrencies. As more people get familiar with crypto through these platforms, it could lead to even wider mainstream adoption.
Yeah, it's like a gateway to the world of crypto. But seriously, it's incredible to see how technology is disrupting traditional financial systems. It's creating new opportunities for people all over the world.
Now, here's another thought-provoking question. Could these platforms change how we think about work and earning?
Hmm, that's an interesting angle. How so? So we've been talking about these platforms as like a low-stakes way to get into crypto. But could they actually change the way we think about working altogether?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I think it's definitely possible. Like, think about those micro-task platforms. They could lead to more of a gig-based economy, where people are piecing together income from a bunch of different sources instead of relying on a traditional job.
So instead of the typical 9 to 5, we might have people earning crypto by doing these online tasks in their free time. Kind of like the next evolution of the side hustle.
Right, exactly. And that could have both good and bad implications. On the one hand, it gives people a lot more flexibility and autonomy. You can work whenever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah, that freedom and flexibility is a big deal for a lot of people. But what about things like security and benefits? You know, the kind of stuff that comes with a traditional job.
That's the trade-off for sure. The gig economy can be pretty unpredictable. There's no guaranteed income, no health insurance, no paid time off. It's a whole different world with its own set of
Yeah,
challenges.
it's not a perfect solution,
Yeah,
but it could open up opportunities for people who maybe don't have access to those traditional jobs.
definitely. Think about people in developing countries or people who face barriers to traditional employment. These platforms could give them a way to earn an income regardless of where they live or their background.
Yeah, it could level the playing field in a way.
Yeah.
But if we do see this shift towards a more gig-based economy, what kind of skills are people going to need to be successful?
That's a great question. It's hard to say for sure, but I think things like adaptability and digital literacy are going to be even more important.
So basically being comfortable with technology and being able to learn new skills quickly.
Right. And we can't forget about financial literacy either. Understanding how crypto works, managing your digital assets, navigating this new financial landscape, that's all going to be crucial.
Yeah, it's like a whole new set of rules and a whole new toolbox that we'll need to learn. Kind of exciting, but also a little bit scary.
One thing's for sure, though, the lines between work and leisure are already getting kind of blurry. These platforms are integrating earning opportunities into all sorts of everyday activities. You can earn crypto while you're watching videos, playing games, even just browsing the internet.
It's like earning has become a game. But does that mean we're always going to be working in some way, even when we're supposed to be relaxing? It makes you think about work-life balance and how much our attention is really worth.
Yeah, it's a valid concern. And it's something we'll need to be careful about as this technology keeps developing. I think it's still too early to say exactly how these platforms are going to impact work and earning in the long run.
Yeah, it's definitely a space to watch, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this more as things change. So what are some key takeaways for our listeners today?
I think the first one is that there's no such thing as free crypto. There's always a trade-off involved, whether it's your time, your attention, or the potential risks.
Do your research, choose reputable platforms, and understand the potential downsides before you jump in.
And second, think about the big picture. How might these platforms change the future of finance and the way we work? It's a conversation worth having and something to keep an eye on.
It's definitely just the beginning of what's going to be a wild ride. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of earning crypto without investing.